With it coming to the end of the year, we look on to next year, where we will embark on new adventures, to new places, to meet new people, all within the comfort of our own home, with books. I'm looking outside. Oof. So here are some of the books I want to get to in 2023. First of all, the series I'd love to finish. Starting with the Greenbone Saga. I read Jade City in the middle of this year. It wasn't an immediate new favourite. The first half was pretty slow, but there were some changes and some twists that happened about 60-70% of the way through that really catapulted that last third, and I really enjoyed it and really want to continue on to the next books. And I've heard that book 2 is even better and book 3 is even better than that, so I'm planning on reading Jade War very soon. The Greenbone Saga is a Godfather-esque mafia clan story between conflicting clans taking territory and fighting against one another. So it's quite a unique fantasy story. It's not something that I've ever read before, and I've heard that book 2 and 3 continue on with generations. It's over a very long period of time, this series. So we get the main character's kids, I think. So it's quite a big scale story, and I feel like we only get a wee bit of that in Jade City. So very excited. On to Jade War. I'm probably going to read it over the holidays. Very soon. Another series I have started that I want to finish next year is the Nevernight Chronicles. I've only read the first book. I used to be really good at reading a book and then just finishing the series and then moving on, but something about 2021, I've picked up so many first books and just never continued, so I need to fix that. I'm going to finish off these series before I go on to new stuff. The Nevernight Chronicles is a beautifully written assassin school setting, angsty character, heavily metaphorical prose, deep world building partly told through footnotes. The first third was quite jarring. You had a lot of footnotes, past Mia, future Mia. It just felt like an awful lot, but after that, once you got into the part 2 of the book, it really became much smoother sailing, and I really enjoyed the second and third half. Second and third. And this is another case where God's Grave and Dark Dawn are meant to be even better than the first book, so they're another one I want to read very soon. Next, The War Eternal by Rob Hayes. Book 5 came out this month, so it's a really good time to binge and finish off the series. This follows Eska on the losing side of a war, so she's imprisoned in a prison mine called the Pit. This is told from the perspective of Eska in the future, so we've already been hinted at sort of where we'll get to and her descent into becoming the Corpse Queen. So I'm very interested to continue her story very soon, hopefully, maybe. Another series I'm desperate to continue is The Wheel of Time. I've read the first 2 books, so I'm on book 3, The Dragon Reborn, and I'm just kind of chipping away at it. I've not been reading them that close together, kind of a fair bit apart, just whenever I feel like I want to go back to that sort of classic fantasy feeling. But I do want to at least finish Dragon Reborn and the Shadow Rising book 4 at least, cause I believe season 2 of the TV show will cover those 2 books. I really enjoyed the first 2 books. They're quite chunky, so I've not really been reading them back to back. So they'll probably be spaced out over 2023. I'm hoping to get at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 books in further into the Wheel of Time. Now, as for starting, I want to start quite a lot of books next year, quite a lot of series, but the biggest one I'm most excited for, the Lycanus trilogy. I don't know tons about it, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I just know there's time travel. It sounds quite poetic with the titles of the books: Shadow of What Was Lost, and I've seen a lot of people with similar taste to me have rave reviews about this series, so I'm very excited. And also, when I did the Great Endings video, loads of people said that this had one of the best endings they read in fantasy, so I'm very excited to read this. Next up is A Cardinal Sin of Mine. I need to go get a book. 1 minute. I have not yet read the First Law trilogy. I know I got a couple comments on my bookshelf video of people saying, "No Abercrombie?" I do actually own the Abercrombie books, I've just not read them yet. But I know he's a staple of the genre. He's known for very character-driven books with some humor, grimdark, very dark type books. It sounds right up my street, so I'm sure I will enjoy them. I don't know why I've not picked them up yet, but if we're getting later in the year and I haven't picked this up, you can shout at me in the comments or DM me and say, hey, read Abercrombie. Next up, I also really want to start Brian Staveley's books. I'm really jealous of you people in the US that you get these really big floppy paperbacks that, you know, you can read really easily and not break the spine, instead of these more rigid hardbacks that we have here in the UK. I'm always afraid of breaking the spine. But I will not have that problem when I read Brian Staveley's books. Again, this is a case of I've just heard reviews, I've just heard people say they really like them. I don't know that much about the series, just people that I trust have said that they really enjoyed it. And also, his follow-up series after this trilogy, The Empire's Ruin, is a chunky book. It's only about over 700 pages, but I've heard it's like over 300,000 words. I'm fairly certain he said in an interview. So that's, you know, way of King's size. So I'm always up for big, lots fully fleshed out world with characters and over a long period of time. I also really want to start Hobbs books. The reason I haven't started Hobbs books yet is because I've been reading The Wheel of Time and I thought, oh, I'll finish The Wheel of Time and then I can move on to Realm of the Elderlings, since it's 16 books, I think. But I can't put off any longer. Hearing people talk about it is just, it sounds so good. I want that level of trauma in my life. I'm not sure what my therapist will say about that, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I think I'm just going to treat this as the trilogies that it's set up to be. So I'm going to read the Farseer trilogy, maybe the live ships, and not put the pressure on myself of reading the 16 books quite close together. Because I am going to still chip away at The Wheel of Time as well. That's all the big ones that I own that I really want to get to. I also want to have a higher emphasis on self-pub books. I was really good in the middle last year, and then towards the end of the year I kind of tailed off kind of all my reading, to be honest. I've been writing a book. I don't think I've ever said that on here. I'm writing a book. So I've been doing that and it's taken up a lot of my reading time. So the second half of the year was kind of a lot less reading. I do have some arcs and stuff at the start of the year that I really want to get to first. And I want to read Rob Hayes' books and a handful of other self-pubs, including what might be my favourite cover art in all of fantasy, Blackstone Heart.
Wow.
That cover art by Felix Ortiz. It's just one of the best. And also with Stormlight 5 coming out at the start of 2024, I'd really like to catch up with the Cosmere books I've not finished. So I'm currently on The Bands of Mourning in Era 2. So I need to read that, and I need to read The Lost Metal. I'm kind of hoping that they'll release the paperback soon. I like the consistency of them all lined up. And I also need to read Elantris and a handful of the Cosmere novellas. I've not read Emperor's Soul or Secret History yet. I think I'm going to read Secret History before Bands of Mourning. I've been getting different feedback on if I should read Secret History first or after Bands of Mourning, but I think I'm just going to read it first. It's kind of been spoiled and I kind of know what's going to happen in it, so I don't think it matters too much which order I read it in. I think I'm going to read Secret History first. You can let me know if that's a terrible idea. And if I somehow have time on top of all that, I will just read some of the new releases that I talked about in my upcoming releases video, and also just anything that my fancy, you know? I'm very much a mood reader, so a lot of the time making these TBRs doesn't always go to plan. I'm fairly confident in the books in this video I'm going to get to next year. Let me know what books I should prioritize on this list, and let me know what books you're planning on reading on in 2023. That sounds weird to say. So next week will be the top 10 reads of 2022, and then that'll be us into 2023. So I just want to say thank you so much for an amazing month and a half launch of this channel. For those who don't know, I did come from Instagram doing book content, and then I hopped over to YouTube. I only launched this, I think it was November 18th, and the support has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all the comments and the likes and just watching the videos. It means a lot. It's honestly been absolutely insane. I did not expect this sort of support for making videos and stuff, so really appreciate it. I'm sure you can tell by the mishmash of videos I've made over the last month that I'm still kind of figuring out exactly what type of videos I want to make. I've tried different lighting, like this one. It's got the blue light behind me. Nice. I've just done a mishmash trying to figure out exactly what type of videos I enjoy making and you guys enjoy watching. So if you have any feedback on what type of videos you do want, let me know. And again, thank you very much. So I hope you have a good Christmas if you celebrate it. If not, happy holidays, and outro.